Hey second graders, it's Miss Dixon here, and I am so excited to see you guys today. Well, today we are going to be talking about something super important when you are reading. Today we're going to be talking about the skill of making connections. Connections. When good readers read, they make connections because connections help us understand the story better. And that's what everybody wants to do when you read. You want to understand the story just a little bit better. Now, how do we do that? What are connections? How do we make them? What types are they? Don't worry, I'm here to help. So when we make connections, a couple things that we do is, first of all, we make connections like 3 different ways. We can make text to self connections. That's when we look at the story and we look and we think, that reminds me of a time I did something, of a true story about your life. Another way you can make connections is text to text. And so that's when you take 2 stories and you compare them to each other. And you think, that reminds me of another book or a movie or a show or maybe a poem or a newspaper article. And the third type of connection is text to world. And that's when you think, that reminds me of something in our world, maybe something you've seen out in the world or something you've heard about out in the world. So we have 3 types of connections: text to self, text to text, text to world. So easy. And today, when we think of connections, I'm going to teach you a little chant to help you remember what connections are. Ready? All right, let's learn it together. It says, we can, and you say it after me. Ready? So you see my little mask. Ready? So we can make connections in different ways. Text to self, text to text, and text to world. So good, second graders. Okay, let's try it all together. You're going to say it with me. We're going to say it at the same time. Ready? Here we go. We can make connections in different ways. Text to text. Oh, I messed up. Sorry, friends. Text to self, text to text, and text to world. See, even grown-ups make mistakes. No big deal. Okay, so friends, today you are going to listen to Miss Dixon read a story called Stellaluna. And I want to see is, as I'm reading this story, if you can make a connection to the story. Maybe you make a text to self connection and you think, that reminds me of something that's happened to me in my life. Maybe you think, I have a text to text connection and you think, that reminds me of another book or a movie. Or maybe you have a text to world connection and you think about something that happens in the world. And any of those connections would be great. So today I'm going to read you Stellaluna by Janell Cannon, and you are going to listen and try to make a connection. Okay, here we go. Stellaluna by Janell Cannon. In a warm, sultry forest far, far away, there once lived a mother fruit bat and her new baby. Oh, how Mother Fruit Bat loved her soft, tiny baby. I'll name you Stellaluna, she crooned. Each night, Mother Bat would carry Stellaluna clutched to her breast as she flew out in search for food. One night, as Mother Bat followed the heavy scent of ripe fruit, an owl spied her. On silent wings, the powerful bird swooped down upon the bats. Dodging and shrieking, Mother Bat tried to escape, but Owl struck again and again, knocking Stellaluna into the air. Her baby wings were as limp and useless as wet paper. Down, down she went, faster and faster, into the forest below. The dark, leafy tangle of branches caught Stellaluna as she fell. One twig was small enough for Stellaluna's tiny feet. Wrapping her wings around her, she clutched the thin branch, trembling with cold and fear. "Mother," Stellaluna squeaked, "where are you?" By daybreak, the baby bat could hold on no longer. Down, down she dropped again. Flump! Stellaluna landed headfirst into a soft, downy nest, startling the 3 baby birds who lived there. Stellaluna quickly clambered from the nest and hung out of sight below it. She listened to the babble of the 3 birds. "What was that?" cried Flap. "I don't know, but it's hanging by its feet," chirped Flitter. "Shh! Here comes Mama," hissed Pip. Many, many times that day, Mama Bird flew away, always returning with food for her babies. Stellaluna was terribly hungry, but not for the crawly things that Mama Bird brought. Finally, though, the little bat could bear it no longer. She climbed into the nest, closed her eyes, and opened up her mouth. Plop! In dropped a big green grasshopper. Stellaluna learned to be like the birds. She stayed awake all day and slept at night. She ate bugs, even though they tasted awful. Her bat ways were quickly disappearing, except for one thing. Stellaluna still liked to sleep by her feet. Once, when Mama Bird was away, the curious babies decided to try it too. When Mama Bird came home, she saw 8 tiny feet gripping to the edge of her nest. "Yeek!" she cried. "Get back up here this instant! You're going to fall and break your necks." The birds clambered back into the nest, but Mama stopped Stellaluna. "You are teaching my children to do bad things. I will not let you back into this nest unless you will promise to obey the rules of this house." Stellaluna promised. She ate bugs without making their faces. She slept in the nest at night. She didn't hang by her feet. Stellaluna behaved as good birds should. All the babies grew quickly. Soon the nest became crowded. Mama Bird told them it was time to learn to fly. One by one, Pip, Flitter, Flap, and Stellaluna jumped from the nest. Their wings worked. "I'm just like them," thought Stellaluna. "I can fly, too." Pip, Flutter, and Flap landed gracefully on a branch. Stellaluna decided to do the same. How embarrassing. Boys and girls, I'm going to pause because this reminds me I'm having a text to self-connection. This reminds me of a time in my life when I tried to do things that all of my friends could do, but I couldn't do it. So I have felt like Stellaluna before. I felt embarrassed. Maybe you have a text to self-connection. Maybe you have had friends that all of them could do something, like ride their bike or tie their shoes or whistle or snap, and you couldn't quite do it yet. That's a very normal emotion, especially in 2nd grade. Let's keep going and see what happens with Stellaluna. "I will fly all day," Stellaluna told herself. "Then no one will see how clumsy I am." Does that sound like a good plan? The next day, Pip, Flitter, Flap, and Stellaluna went flying far from home. They flew for hours, exercising their new wings. "The sun is setting," warned Flicker. "We better go home or we'll get lost in the dark," said Flap. But Stellaluna had flown far ahead and was nowhere to be seen. The 3 anxious birds went home without her. All alone, Stellaluna flew until her wings ached and she dropped into a tree. "I promised not to hang by my feet," Stellaluna sighed. So she hung by her thumbs and soon fell asleep. She didn't hear the soft sound of wings coming near. "Hey," a loud voice said, "why are you hanging from upside down?" Stellaluna's eyes opened wide. A peculiar face was looking at her. "I'm not upside down. You are," Stellaluna said. "Ah, but you're a bat. Bats hang by their feet. You're hanging by your thumbs, so that makes you upside down." The creature said, "I'm a bat. I'm hanging by my feet, so that makes me right side up. Stellaluna was confused. Mama Bird told me I was upside down. She said I was wrong. Wrong for a bird, maybe, but not for a bat. I have a connection there. I know that sometimes I try to do things that are right for other people, but they're not right for me. I felt like that. You always have to do what's right for you. Very important lesson. More bats gathered around to see the strange young bat who behaved like a bird. Stellaluna told them her story. You ate bugs? Stuttered one. You slept at night? Gasped another. How very strange, they all murmured. Wait, let me look at this child. A bat pushed through the crowd. An owl attacked you? She asked. Sniffing Stellaluna's fur, she whispered, You're Stellaluna. You're my baby. You escaped the owl? Cried Stellaluna. You survived? Yes, said Mother Bat, as she wrapped her wings around Stellaluna. Come with me, and I'll show you where to find the most delicious fruit. You'll never have to eat another bug as long as you live. But it's nighttime, Stellaluna squeaked. We can't fly in the dark or we'll crash into trees. We're bats, said Mother Bat. We can see in darkness. Come with us. Stellaluna was afraid, but she let go of the tree and dropped into the deep blue sky. Stellaluna could see. She felt as though rays of light shone from her eyes. She was able to see everything in her path. Soon the bats managed to find a mango tree, and Stellaluna ate as much fruit as she could hold. I'll never eat another bug as long as I live, cheered Stellaluna as she stuffed herself full. I must tell Pip, Flitter, and Flap. The next day, Stellaluna went to visit the birds. Come with me and meet my bat family, said Stellaluna. Okay, let's go, agreed Pip. They hang by their feet and fly at night, and they eat the best food in the world, Stellaluna explained to the birds on their way. All the birds flew among the bats. Flop said, I fell upside down. So the birds hung by their feet. Wait until dark, Stellaluna said excitedly. We will fly at night. When night came, Stellaluna flew away. Pip, Flitter, and Flap tried to follow her. I can't see a thing, yelled Pip. Neither can I, howled Flitter. Yee! Shrieked Flap. They're going to crash, gasped Stellaluna. I must rescue them. Stellaluna swooped about, grabbing her friends in the air. She lifted them to a tree. The birds grasped a branch. Stellaluna hung from the limb above them. We're safe, said Stellaluna. Then she sighed. I wish you could see in the darkness, too. We wish you could land on your feet, Flitter replied. Pip and Flap nodded. They perched in silence for a long time. How can we be so different and feel so much alike, mused Flitter. And how can we be so different and feel so much alike, wondered Pip. How can we feel so different and be so much alike, wondered Pip. I think it's quite a mystery, Flap chirped. I agree, said Stellaluna. But we're friends, and that's a fact. Stellaluna. So, boys and girls, today I want you to think, what kind of connections do you have to this story? Is it a text-to-self connection, a text-to-text connection, or a text-to-world connection? That's what we're going to be working on today. Thanks for listening. I hope you had a great day. Bye, guys.